Heartwarming act. Waitress pays bill for hidden billionaire, discover the life-changing moment. The diner buzzed like a beehive, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingling with the sweet scent of warm apple pie. For Emma, it was more than a job. It was home. With dark circles under her eyes, she poured another cup for Mr. Hargrove, the quiet man who always chose the booth in the back. Nobody noticed him much, but Emma did. She caught glimmers of pain in his eyes that mirrored her own struggles as a single mother raising her daughter, Lily. Emma moved through the diner's chaos, her heart beating with the rhythm of hard work echoing through her life. She would do anything for Lily, channeling the sacrifices of her parents into a relentless drive. Every smile she offered and every pie she served was a step towards a future where her daughter could thrive. And her boss, Frank, a grizzled Vietnam veteran with a heart as big as the diner, often reminded her of the importance of kindness. "Life's tough, Emma," he'd say, "but never underestimate the power of community." As dark clouds gathered one fateful evening, the diner filled rapidly. Storms swept through, soaking the streets, but inside, warmth and chatter enveloped everyone. Emma felt her usual spark. She was the embodiment of generosity, serving customers as if they were family. Then, glancing at Mr. Hargrove, she noticed him fidgeting, looking uneasy, and before she could second-guess herself, she walked over. "Mr. Hargrove, it's on me tonight," she said, her voice steady despite her empty wallet. His expression shifted, a flicker of shock transforming into something profound, but she brushed aside her worries, opting instead to focus on the warmth in his features, as he murmured a heartfelt thank you. Unbeknownst to her, that small act of compassion ignited something in Mr. Hargrove, stirring emotions he'd buried under wealth, under secrets. The storm raged outside, but the diner stood resilient, a beacon of hope during chaos. As Emma leaned against the counter, catching her breath, Frank approached, pride shining in his eyes. "Did you see that? You're a force, kid. You may not know it, but you just turned a man's night around. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." But as the evening wore on, so did the storm. Outside, trees bent and howled, while inside, the warm glow of the diner felt like a lifeline. Then tragedy struck. The roof sprang a leak, and water cascaded down in a torrent. The community's haven was in jeopardy, and Emma's heart dropped. Doubt washed over her. How would she manage? She refused to falter. Determined, Emma began planning a fundraiser, rallying the community's support to save their beloved diner. Yet as she organized and pleaded with local artists and bakers, a gnawing anxiety settled in her gut. Mr. Hargrove sat back, the weight of his hidden identity pressing down on him. Could he really stay quiet? The pull of Emma's unyielding optimism ignited something he thought lost. Torn between his past and a chance to change someone's future, he sat there, staring at the remnants of the pie she had blessed him with, realizing he held the key to it all. As the storm raged outside, so too did the fire inside him. Would he step out of the shadows and become the hero Emma and the diner needed? The answer hung heavy in the air, leaving everyone waiting for the moment that could alter their destinies forever. Would Mr. Hargrove answer the call of compassion echoed by a simple act of kindness? As the storm intensified, the rain drummed against the diner's window, creating a rhythmic backdrop that matched the turmoil building in Mr. Hargrove's heart. He watched Emma juggle the tasks at hand, her smile unwavering as she took care of each customer and orchestrated her plans to save the diner. It was a vision of resilience that stirred something within him, a feeling long thought extinguished under the weight of his hidden wealth. His fingers traced the edge of the empty pie plate, reflecting on how a single act of kindness could reverberate through the fabric of a community. Emma had shown him that deep connection that transcended material possessions. He felt the tightness in his chest as memories flooded back his late wife's laughter, the warmth of family dinners, the joy in simplicity. Something inside him yearned to reclaim that spirit. Meanwhile, Emma rallied her fellow waitstaff, gathering their strength to face the latest setback. "We can do this together," she encouraged, her voice a blend of hope and urgency. The sparkle in her eyes drove her team forward. They brainstormed fundraising ideas, whirring with enthusiasm amidst the chaos. Local musicians offered to play at a benefit concert. The bakery down the street pledged to donate desserts for a bake sale. As the diner's family united in this cause, Mr. Hargrove's heart twitched with longing. He took a breath, battling the hesitation that clung to him. It was easy to sit quietly and observe, yet he felt an undeniable urge to speak up, to share his resources. Would he truly let Emma and her community fight for the home that meant so much to them? Just then, he noticed a young couple at a nearby booth looking torn. Their shoulders slumped under the weight of life's burdens. It was a mirror of his own hidden struggles. Suddenly, the diner door swung open, and the cold wind sliced through, momentarily dimming the warmth inside. A few latecomers stumbled in, soaking and seeking refuge from the relentless storm. Emma instantly switched gears, greeting the newcomers with her signature warmth. "Welcome. We've got hot coffee and fresh pie." It was that spirit that ignited a spark in Mr. Hargrove one last time. Steeling himself, he rose from his seat and approached the counter. Emma turned to him, her expression full of surprise and curiosity. "Mr. Hargrove, is everything all right?" A silence fell between them that felt heavy yet full of promise. "Emma," he began, swallowing hard, "you have no idea how much your act of kindness meant to me." As voices faded into whispers around them, tension filled the air. I want to help." Emma's eyes widened in shock. She felt a rush of hope swell within her. "Help how?" "I'll match whatever funds you raise," he replied, his voice steadying. "For the diner and you." As the implications settled, the buzz in the diner became palpable. Friends shared glances, patrons perked up, and behind the counter, Frank paused with a knowing smile, understanding the weight of this moment. But Mr. Hargrove had hesitations of his own. As he looked into Emma's eyes, he knew a choice lay ahead, one that could change his life and hers. Would he reveal everything? Would he come clean about the past he'd hidden? The question echoed like thunder in his heart. The storm continued to rage outside, but inside, an unexpected calm settled, filled with possibilities. Emma stood frozen, wide-eyed, contemplating the weight of his words. Was it really happening? Was help on the way? They were at the precipice of change. The air felt electric with anticipation. What transformation awaited them both? And would Emma finally uncover the true identity of the man she'd saved that night? The diner felt like the center of the universe, hanging on the edge of a pivotal moment. Emma's heart raced. It felt as though time stood still, with every pair of eyes in the diner now locked onto her and Mr. Hargrove. The chatter around them melted away, replaced by the unmistakable tension of unspoken words. She could hardly breathe, the weight of his offer settling heavily in her chest. "Mr. Hargrove, you really mean that?" She had hard-won pride, but at that moment, she felt incredibly exposed. Whether he knew it or not, he stood before her as a lifeline, and the gravity of his intent struck her deeper than any storm outside. "Yes, I do," he replied, his voice firm yet raspy, as if he were pulling the words from somewhere raw. "It's time I stop hiding in the shadows. This diner isn't just a building. It's a heartbeat. I want to be part of that rhythm again." The sincerity in his voice melted the doubts she harbored. Emma had witnessed countless people toughing it out for community, but seeing a man so willing to intertwine his journey with theirs was something extraordinary. "Really?" Her tone fluttered between disbelief and joy. "Yes," he said, the corners of his mouth hinting at a smile. "You and your team are fighting for something more than just survival. That kind of passion means something to me." Frank, who had been listening from behind the counter, exchanged a glance with Emma. His nod of approval tightened the knot of confidence in her throat. "Okay then," Emma declared, a spark igniting in her eyes. Let us do this together. The room erupted into applause. Laughter bounced off the walls, cutting through the lingering tension like warm sunlight. Yet beneath the surface, Mr. Hargrove felt the familiar churn of anxiety. They were celebrating, but he knew that he wasn't just giving money. He was opening up a door to his past, one he'd tucked away neatly. His heart raced as he wondered how far he could let her in. Days passed, and the diner buzzed with energy as plans for the fundraiser took shape. The benefit concert turned into a sensational event, sponsorships rolled in, and a steady stream of customers flowed in, eager to support Emma's dream. Frank had rallied the local musicians, and they turned the tiny diner into a vibrant hub of music and community spirit. Each strum of the guitar, each laugh shared, and each pie sold but painted a picture of hope. Yet, in the corner of his mind, Mr. Hargrove wrestled with the truth he still kept hidden. Each encounter with Emma was a reminder of the past he had tried to escape. Night after night, as they worked side by side, he found himself increasingly drawn to her warmth. Emma's laughter filled the air, and the more he watched her, the more his walls began to crumble. She was more than just a waitress. She embodied everything he had lost and longed for. On one particularly chilly evening, while Emma wiped down tables after another successful rush, her eyes flickered toward him. "Mr. Hargrove, can we talk?" He sensed that familiar bolt of fear as he nodded. "Sure, Emma. What's on your mind?" Shuffling her feet nervously, she took a deep breath. "I feel like we're building something amazing here, together. But I need to know your story. You can trust me. You don't have to hide anymore." He felt the weight of her gaze, the earnest desire for honesty. Standing amidst the backdrop of laughter and bustling chatter, the truth felt ever more suffocating. Mr. Hargrove's heart raced. The night was closing in, shadows creeping around them as he prepared to reveal the layers beneath the surface. What would she think? Could she accept the reality that he was not just a simple man with a quiet past? Just then, the storm outside roared, echoing the tumult in his heart. As he opened his mouth to speak, he realized this was a moment that could change everything. His breath caught in his throat as the words threatened to spill out. Mr. Hargrove glanced around the diner, the flickering lights casting a warm glow over the faces of friends and patrons who had become family. They were unaware of the shadows that danced in his thoughts, shadows that could darken the vibrancy around them. He wanted to share, to be open, but the fear of rejection weighed heavily on him. "Emma," he started, his voice a mere whisper against the laughter and music. "My life hasn't always been straightforward. When you asked for my story, it felt like you were asking for a piece of my soul." She leaned in, her eyes filled with an understanding that sent a shiver down his spine. "I want to know you, Mr. Hargrove. Not just the man behind the investment, but the person who cares enough to rebuild what was lost." He swallowed hard, feeling as if the storm outside had found its way into his heart. "It's complicated. I ran away from everything I knew, seeking a simple life, but it has become so much more than that." Emma nodded, her expression earnest. "I'm here, just take your time." He took a deep breath, looking out the window as raindrops streaked the glass like tears. "I was once part of something grand. Wealth, influence, power. But I lost it all when I couldn't face the consequences of my choices. I thought leaving would wipe my slate clean, but it only turned me into a shadow of who I once was." "I see," she said softly. "But why hide here at this diner? Why come back?" "Because," he continued, casting his gaze back to her, "this place is home. Here I can be part of something real. When you work so hard for something, it fills your heart with purpose. I see it in you and Frank and the way everyone rallies around this diner. I've been searching for that feeling again." As Emma listened, the corners of her mouth turned up in a gentle smile. "You're still that man deep down, aren't you? It's just been buried under fear." He chuckled darkly, almost bitterly. "Fear is one hell of a shoveler." The mood shifted as Emma's laughter danced through the noise of the diner. "And it's time we turn that fear into something beautiful." Despite the pain in his past, her words began to lift the weight from his chest. Emma's sincerity cut deep, igniting a flicker of hope within him that he had thought extinguished long ago. Feeling emboldened, he pushed on. I want to be a part of this community again, Emma, but there's something else you should know. Before he could reveal more, the front door flung open, and a gust of wind swept into the diner, carrying a chilling breeze and a burst of laughter. A group of teenagers stumbled in, shaking off raindrops and brightening up the space. The moment was lost. Emma glanced at the new arrivals, then back at him with a look that said they could pick up where they left off later. Let us get back to work, she suggested, her enthusiasm infectious. They both laughed, and for a moment the world outside faded. He felt lighter, the burden of his truth mingling with the energy of the diner. Emma's curiosity made him want to share more, to break down his walls piece by piece as the night went on. They busied themselves within the fragrant air of pie and coffee, the laughter of customers wrapping around them like a warm hug. Mr. Hargrove found himself wanting to open up, to let her see him for who he really was. But the storm outside intensified, echoing the clash of emotions inside him. He knew he had only scratched the surface. And as the night deepened, he couldn't shake the feeling that revealing the full truth was the next step, one that could change everything again. But was he ready? Did he have the courage to fully step into the light from the shadows he had lingered in for so long? With that thought lingering in his mind, he realized the storm inside him might just be as furious as the one outside. The diner buzzed with energy, laughter echoing off the walls like sweet music. Mr. Hargrove focused on the hum of conversation, on small joys unfolding around him. It was comforting, a reminder of life's simple pleasures. He poured coffee into mugs, exchanging smiles with guests as if sharing a secret only they understood. Yet, Emma's words lingered in his mind, whispering encouragement. You're still that man deep down. Could he dare to believe it? He felt like a phoenix, winged and weighed down by ash. As the night pressed on, the warmth in the diner wrapped around him like a cozy blanket, making him feel a strange mix of belonging and vulnerability. During a lull, Emma stepped next to him at the counter, her hands busy with a ticket book. What do you think they want? She asked, glancing at the teenagers digging into plates of fries and burgers, bubbling with laughter. Let us surprise them. He smiled, watching the carefree faces of youth. How about some milkshakes? You can't have fries without a little sugar rush. She laughed, vibrant and unrestrained, an elixir for his heart. You're on. They quickly prepared the shakes, blending together vanilla, chocolate, and even the wild cherry he found in the back. As they worked, their hands occasionally brushed, sending warmth through him. Each shared smile deepened his resolve, inching him closer to revealing everything. Once they finished, they approached the table where the teens were animatedly recounting stories. Mr. Hargrove set down a towering array of milkshakes in front of them. On the house, courtesy of your friendly diner crew. Whoa, thanks, one of the boys exclaimed, his eyes wide. The girls squealed in delight, and laughter erupted, lightening the air even more. Emma looked at Mr. Hargrove, her eyes shimmering. See, just a little bit of joy can go a long way. But even amid that joy, Mr. Hargrove wrestled with fear. He couldn't shake the memory of all he had lost, of how he failed before. Just as he turned back to the counter, a fawn-colored dog barked outside, seeming to know the storm was brewing. The tension in him tightened again. Mr. Hargrove? Emma's voice sliced through his thoughts. He turned to her. What's on your mind? You've been in there for a while. There was warmth and concern in her gaze that threatened to melt his defenses, that he hesitated, the lump in his throat returning. He wanted to share, to let her in, to show her the true heart beneath the layers of hurt. He could almost see it, his past rising like steam, intangible yet real. There's so much more to the story I haven't told you. Things I fear will change how you see me. Emma stepped closer, sincerity radiating from her. Whatever it is, I promise I won't run. I'm here, remember? That comfort both thrilled and terrified him. He took a breath that felt like the building blocks of truth colliding inside him. I lost everything because of a single choice. I always thought it was the end, but this place, it makes me think differently. Before he could say more, The bell above the door jingled, and a figure entered the diner. The man was familiar, yet like a ghost from his past, and Mr. Hargrove froze. "Harvey!" The exclamation was laced with surprise and disbelief. It was a name that held weight, a name that could either shatter the fragile progress he had made with Emma or bind them in a chaotic web he could not escape. With his heart racing, he turned back to Emma, who had witnessed his reaction. "What do you think?" he began, unsure of how to explain the storm that had just re-entered his life. Did he dare to confront this piece of his past now, in this place that had begun to feel like a sanctuary? Or would he retreat once more, letting fear win? Mr. Hargrove's pulse raced as he fixed his gaze on Harvey, who strolled in with an air of nonchalance. The man hadn't he changed much, a little older, maybe, but that trademark smugness still hung about him like cologne, thick and suffocating. Glancing back at Emma, Mr. Hargrove saw her expression shift subtly, her curiosity piqued. "What's wrong?" she asked, her voice a balm to his rising anxiety. He swallowed hard, mind moving a mile a minute. Harvey's unexpected arrival felt like a self-imposed sentence for an old crime. He's someone I used to know. An old friend?" Her tone was gentle, but there was an intensity in her eyes that urged him to be honest. More like a reminder of bad decisions. The weight of those words hung heavy between them. Harvey spotted him then, and a slow grin spread across his face. "Well, if it isn't the hometown hero, or should I say the town ghost?" Mr. Hargrove clenched his fists, feeling all the familiar emotions churn in him. Anger, regret, and that deep, gnawing fear that had haunted him ever since he stepped away from everything he once knew. Emma shifted slightly next to him, her presence grounding. "Is he okay?" she asked, more to him than to Harvey, but Mr. Hargrove knew she was wary too. "What do you want, Harvey?" he replied, keeping his voice steady. "Oh, just stopping by to see how things are going for my old partner," Harvey said, his eyes flicking toward the teenagers still enjoying their shakes. "You seem to have settled down nicely, haven't you? This little diner is a real change from the lifestyle I used to know we'd have." Mr. Hargrove's heart sank. "I left that life behind. I'm not interested in anything you're selling." Harvey shrugged, the smirk not fading. "Your choice, but make no mistake. Running away won't erase the past. You don't know anything about it." Mr. Hargrove fought to keep the tremor from his voice, but it slipped through. Emma stepped closer, her presence a protective barrier. "Maybe it's time you shared your side, Mr. Hargrove," she encouraged softly. "You deserve to speak your truth." The room felt like it had narrowed, like a weight was pressing down on him. Harvey was an unwelcome landmine in a space he had been painstakingly rebuilding. "Do you want to hear my story?" Mr. Hargrove was surprised at how calm he sounded as he turned to Harvey. "It's not about lavish life and trouble-free choices. It's about mistakes and redemption. About losing everything and seeking any way back to who I once was." The crowd in the diner, momentarily oblivious, hummed around them. For a moment, the laughter and clinking dishes faded, leaving just the three of them in the echoing hush. "You think I'm afraid of your past?" Harvey shot back, eyes flashing with something between amusement and challenge. "I'm here because of the opportunities it might have brought. I'm not a business deal to be measured, Harvey." The words came sharper than he intended, but they sparked something in him, a stir of courage. "I'm more than a choice you made." Emma turned to him, eyes wide, urging him on without a word. Mr. Hargrove could feel the weight lift ever so slightly. Speaking felt liberating. It was no longer just about him. If he faced Harvey here, maybe it would set him free in more ways than one. And then, unexpectedly, Harvey took a step closer. "You think you can escape the choices you made, Harvey? You think your little diner is enough to rewrite what you did?" Mr. Hargrove clenched his jaw. "Watch me." Harvey's laughter echoed in the diner. "Be careful. Ghosts have a way of haunting you when you least expect. I'm just here to remind you that sometimes you don't get to move on." Emma glanced between them, desperation in her eyes. "You both deserve a chance to explain." But Mr. Hargrove could feel the energy shifting. Something had to give. With heart pounding and adrenaline rushing, he met Harvey's gaze. What do you really want from me, Harvey? The tension crackled like static, and the realization dawned on him. This confrontation was only the first wave of a bigger storm. Would he fight to reclaim his life or let this man, this ghost from his past, define his future? No matter what, I'm here to find out what really happened, Mr. Hargrove declared, resolve solidifying within him. And as the moment hung in the air, a sense of clarity washed over him. He would face this battle head-on, because this time, his heart was no longer alone. What would he discover next, deep within the tangled web of choices and consequences? Mr. Hargrove's heart pounded against his ribcage as he stared into Harvey's eyes. Those familiar eyes held a mix of amusement and mockery, but also an unsettling flicker of something deeper curiosity, perhaps. It was as if Harvey could sense the shift, the way tension hummed through the diner, distracting the patrons from their food and conversations. So, what's it going to be? Harvey asked, leaning in closer. You ready to reminisce about your glory days? The look on his face made Mr. Hargrove's stomach twist. It reminded him of a snake getting ready to strike. The memories flooded his mind some good, but most wrapped in regret. Emma gently squeezed his hand. It was the anchor he desperately needed in this storm of emotions. You don't have to share anything you're not ready for, she murmured, her voice steady as a rock. But the urge to break free from the chains of his past overshadowed his hesitation. You think you can just waltz in here like everything's fine? Like I owe you a walk down memory lane? His voice was hard, each word a stepping stone away from the shadows that haunted him. Honestly, I do think you owe me. Harvey dropped his voice, leaning in as if sharing a secret. The smugness faded momentarily. You were the star, the one who had it all. And then you threw it all away. That's interesting to me. A flicker of anger ignited within Mr. Hargrove, but he tamped it down, channeling it into a steely resolve. You think dragging me back into your world is going to change that? It won't. I've made my peace. Peace? Is that what you call this? Harvey gestured around the diner. Hiding behind a greasy counter while people pretend not to notice you? You're going to let the past play puppet master while you're stuck in this dead end? The words cut deep, and Mr. Hargrove felt the old guilt claw its way back to the surface. He knew his choices back then had led to this moment, but did that mean he was stuck forever? Emma took a step forward, her voice firm. You can't define him, Harvey. He is more than what you see here. A flicker of irritation crossed Harvey's face. Really? Then show me what he is, Emma. Something about her name on Harvey's lips made Mr. Hargrove flare with protectiveness. You're right. I've been defined by my mistakes and your expectations for far too long. But that stops now. Silence enveloped the diner, broken only by the soft clinks of plates being set down. Patrons glanced up, sensing the intensity that filled the air. Harvey's smirk faltered, just for a moment. So what are you going to do? Start a revolution from behind the counter? No offense, my friend, but it's a little late for that. I may be behind this counter, Mr. Hargrove admitted, his voice low but steady. But I'm not hiding anymore. This diner isn't my prison. It's my freedom. I faced the person I was and chose something different. As he spoke, he realized that his words weren't just for Harvey. They were for himself too. Each declaration felt like shedding an old skin, and even Harvey's typical cockiness couldn't fully mask his surprise. Is that it then? Harvey said, raising an eyebrow. You think this is all some fairy tale because you've chosen a simpler life? Mr. Hargrove's chest tightened. It's not a fairy tale. I've lost a lot. My life isn't perfect. But I'm still here and that matters. Does it? Harvey challenged, leaning back as if assessing a game. What about the people you left behind? What about the choices you still need to face? The pressure was mounting, and Mr. Hargrove sensed others straining to catch snippets of their exchange. The weight of buried scars felt heavy, a reminder of the path he had chosen. Sometimes, facing the truth means standing still long enough to feel the pain. He murmured, now not just wrestling with Harvey but also reflecting on his own journey. Emma's hand found his again, grounding him further. The warmth of her connection reminded him that he wasn't alone in this fight. "What are you going to do?" she questioned, eager. Mr. Hargrove inhaled deeply, feeling a mix of determination and fear. "I'm going to face whatever ghosts you bring with you, Harvey, because I'm ready to show you just how far I've come. And this time I won't be afraid of the past." It was a revelation he hadn't known he needed. Yet as he spoke, he felt lighter. The air lifted, shifting around them like a new beginning. Harvey regarded him silently, and the confidence radiating from Mr. Hargrove seemed to penetrate the thick tension. "Fine," Harvey finally replied, his tone now distinctly curious. "Let us see if you can handle the truth." Just then, the bell above the diner door rang out as someone new entered, the atmosphere buzzing with a palpable shift. Mr. Hargrove's heart raced again, not from fear this time, but from the thrill of uncertain possibilities. What awaited him now, with every layer of truth unearthed? As he steadied himself, the weight of the past felt just a little lighter. But shadows still lingered in the background, waiting for their moment to re-emerge. What would this new arrival mean for the fragile balance he was trying to maintain? The bell jingled again, and Mr. Hargrove turned his gaze toward the door. A young woman stepped inside, her presence flooded with energy that instantly turned heads. She was maybe in her late 20s, with chestnut hair cascading over her shoulders and eyes that sparkled like stars against a dark sky. For a moment, the diner seemed to hold its breath, captivated by her vibrant glow. "Hey, is this seat taken?" she asked, gesturing toward a table near the window. A few patrons quickly looked away, pretending to be engrossed in their food, but Mr. Hargrove was struck. The warmth in her voice cut through the tension left by Harvey, reminding him of the simple joys he cherished. He nodded towards her, inviting her to join them. She settled in, and instantly, her energy radiated throughout the diner. "I'm Sarah," she said, flashing a smile that could light up the dimmest corners. "Mr. Hargrove," he replied, his voice softer now than moments before. The new energy stirred something inside him. As she chatted casually about the weather, her plans for the day, and even her weird obsession with chocolate pie, he felt the knot in his stomach begin to unravel. For the first time that morning, he seized a breath that felt easier. "Excuse me for interrupting," Sarah said with a playful nudge, "but you guys have the weirdest vibe. Are you famous? Or something?" Mr. Hargrove chuckled, glancing briefly at Harvey, whose amusement had morphed into irritation. "Just a guy trying to make the best of what he's got," he replied, truth spilling from his lips in the process. "Sounds like a story I want to hear," she replied, her face lighting up with interest. "Not many are interested in old stories," he said, taking a chance. Maybe she would draw the truth out of him, not through harsh confrontation, but with gentleness and understanding. "I am," Sarah insisted, leaning in closer as if they were sharing a delicious secret. "I believe every story hides a treasure beneath the surface. You never know what you'll find when you dig a little deeper." The way she spoke ignited a flicker of hope inside him. Maybe not every encounter had to be filled with hostility. There could be moments of connection too. "Treasure is an interesting word," Mr. Hargrove remarked, his heart swelling as he contemplated his own journey. "Sometimes, it's hard to see it when you're burdened by grit and regret. That's what makes it all the more valuable, don't you think?" she asked, her eyes dancing with wisdom beyond her years. "You've got to sift through the dirt to find the gems." He felt Emma's hand tighten around his, a subtle sign of solidarity. There was something about Sarah's light-hearted approach that reminded him of the beauty he'd long forgotten. "Maybe you're right," he agreed softly, feeling more at ease. Sometimes it helps to look at life through fresh eyes. Across the table, Harvey's expression shifted. A mix of annoyance and curiosity etched across his face. "What is this, a pep rally? You really think you can just turn over a new leaf just like that? Why not?" Emma shot back, her tone firm and unwavering. "Maybe that's the point, to embrace the chance to be better. To change the narrative after all this time." Mr. Hargrove glanced at Emma, then back to Sarah and Harvey. Here in this moment, the stakes had risen. He wasn't just fighting his past. He was fighting for the version of himself he wanted to reclaim. What if I told you I was open to stories? Sarah ventured, looking each of them in the eye, her enthusiasm infectious. What if each of you shared a piece of yourselves? Would you dare to unearth your treasures? The tension that had once been charged with confrontation turned into something entirely new, a choice, a moment bursting with potential. Mr. Hargrove inhaled deeply, a flicker of determination arising. What if I did? He pondered aloud, allowing himself to imagine a world where he could share his truth without shame. Harvey's gaze sharpened, intrigued now. This should be interesting, he muttered under his breath. As Mr. Hargrove prepared to share a chapter of his life, the struggles around his choices and the hope that somehow persevered, he stole a glance at the newly arrived Sarah. Her kind smile encouraged him to push against the veil of his guarded heart. Would he be brave enough to take that leap? Just then, the door swung open again, and a familiar face stepped inside, a figure that could change everything in ways he never expected. What would this new arrival mean for the unfolding story? The door chimed, pulling Mr. Hargrove's attention away from Sarah. His heart raced. It was Ellie, his daughter. A wave of emotions crashed over him. Ups and downs from a lifetime rushed back, flooding his thoughts. He hadn't seen her in months. They had barely spoken since their last fight, the one that left an aching crack between them. Ellie stepped inside, her expression a mix of surprise and uncertainty. Her dark hair framed her face just like it used to when she was younger, but there was an undeniable maturity in her gaze, now subdued, burdened. As their eyes met, the world around them faded. For a moment, it felt as if the diner had closed in, allowing only them to exist in the tight space of their shared history. "Dad," she began, hesitating, unsure of her words. Mr. Hargrove's throat tightened. "Ellie," he managed, the tenderness in his voice breaking the surface tension. "What brings you here?" She stepped closer, the distance shrinking between them, yet so much still lay in between. "I saw your car outside. I wasn't sure if it was really you." Before another heartbeat passed, Sarah's voice interjected the moment. "Hey there. I'm Sarah." Her bright demeanor seemed to shine through the thick tension. "Are you joining us?" Ellie eyed the table, then flicked a glance at Mr. Hargrove, seeking confirmation. He felt warmth seep back into the room, a mingling of energies. "Of course. We've got room." Ellie hesitated, but a flicker of something, curiosity, perhaps, nudged her to sit. Sarah beamed at her, offering a genuine welcome. Mr. Hargrove watched as Ellie took her seat, her demeanor shifting from guarded to a little more relaxed. The chatter around them picked back up, but for Mr. Hargrove, everything beyond their table faded. There was a stirring inside him, an urge to share everything, the regrets and hopes, the love he felt that never had a chance to be expressed. "Do you remember the old diner we used to come to? The one with the jukebox?" he asked, tilting his head slightly to draw Ellie in. Despite her bravado, the corner of Ellie's lips curled. "Yeah, I remember. You would always order the same thing, bacon and eggs, just like you are now." "True," he chuckled, grateful for the moment of levity. But her smile faded a little. "I just wasn't sure you'd want to see me." His heart sank. Internal fears clawed at him. "I do want to see you," he replied, urgency pushing him to reach out. "I miss you, Ellie. I want to hear about your life." She looked up, searching his face for honesty. "It's complicated," she said softly, vulnerability breaking through the walls she carefully constructed around her feelings. "Complicated can be good. Complicated means things are happening." Sarah chimed in, her voice light but sincere. "Tell us more, and let us dig through the dirt together." Mr. Hargrove watched as Ellie contemplated Sarah's words. No longer was it just the three of them, it felt like a fragile team, ready to unearth parts of themselves. "I dropped out of school. Came home. I thought maybe I'd figure it all out," Ellie confessed, an air of fragility around her admission. "Oh, honey," he whispered, an unexpected swell of compassion swelling in his chest. "It's okay to stumble. It doesn't mean you don't have a treasure waiting for you." Ellie looked bewildered at his words. It was a different tune he played now, one that allowed space for hope rather than despair. But before they could delve deeper, Harvey cleared his throat, dismissively breaking into the conversation. This is getting sentimental. Who's next? Looks like a therapy session, he said with an eye roll. Maybe some of us could use a little therapy, Emma shot back, unperturbed. Mr. Hargrove's heart raced again. Would they connect? Would Ellie see the change in him? Could he lead her to see the biggest treasure of all, the possibility of new beginnings? Suddenly, the diner door flew open again, revealing another familiar face, one that turned the emotional stage upside down, igniting a new fear he hadn't anticipated. What would that arrival mean for Ellie, for him, for the fragile path they were beginning to carve together? The door swung wide with an alarming creak, and in walked Clara, Mr. Hargrove's estranged sister. Her presence cast an unexpected shadow over the diner, and the warmth of newfound connection slipped away in an instant. The room buzzed into silence as the emotional undertow grasped everyone tightly. Clara, he felt the name catch as it left his lips, a mix of disbelief and trepidation flooding through him. Her expression was a patchwork of uncertainty and defiance, eyes darting around the room as if to size up the space. "Can I sit?" Clara asked, her voice steady yet tinged with hesitation. She didn't have to repeat it. The weight of unspoken words loomed over them all. Ellie's gaze flickered between them, a mix of shock and a hint of hope. "What are you doing here?" she finally asked, her voice barely a whisper. Clara took a breath, bracing herself against the emotional waves crashing around them. "I heard you were back, thought it was time to talk." There was a vulnerability underlining her words, as if she too carried burdens that needed to be laid bare. "Talk? After all this time?" Mr. Hargrove's heart pounded, conflict running wild in his chest. But he knew this moment was upon them now, not just for him but for Ellie, for Clara. All of them ready to confront the past. The diner's energy shifted. Even the air felt thick with promise and fear. "Things have changed," Clara admitted, taking a seat at the table with an unexpected finality. "I want us to be a family again, but we need to address what happened first." Mr. Hargrove's pulse quickened, memories flooding him, lost years, fractured promises, pain woven into every moment that had led them to this very day. "You could be called," he replied, anguish lacing his words. "And what? Continue ignoring the rift?" Clara's spark was fierce. "We've been avoiding the truth for too long. You don't get to hide it forever." Silence fell heavy. The diner's usual buzz faded into the background noise, leaving only their heated breaths. Mr. Hargrove's mind raced, emotions volleying defiance, hurt, regret spinning wildly. Emma reached out, her hand covering his with tangible warmth. Her gesture pierced through his storm of thoughts. "What if we all share our truths?" she suggested, her voice calm like the eye of a hurricane. "Maybe then we can find a way forward." Ellie's brow furrowed, uncertain but intrigued. I like that." Her voice trembled but glimmered with hope, still hearing Emma's words underlining the need for honesty. Clara's voice softened slightly, her defenses faltering. "What if we start with you, Mark?" He inhaled deeply, the weight heavy on his heart. "It's been a long time since I felt like I belonged anywhere," he replied, vulnerability spilling into the space between them. "I thought leaving would make things easier. I thought I could erase my mistakes by running." Tears brimmed in Clara's eyes. "But you didn't have to do it alone." Mr. Hargrove felt a shift, a thread clinging more tightly to his heart. "I was scared. Scared of what I'd done. Scared of being judged. But here back in this diner, I've rediscovered a sense of community. A sense of family. Something I thought I lost." As his voice lingered, the diner seemed to collectively breathe in the weight of his honesty, patrons turning back toward their meals, but eyes occasionally darting to the table, finding warmth in the shared struggle. Now it was Ellie's turn. She took a shaky breath. "I thought dropping out would give me freedom, but all it did was trap me in my own head. I felt like I needed to break free from the expectations." Her voice cracked, but she looked to Mr. Hargrove, her father. "I miss you, Dad. I wish we knew how to find each other." Clara nodded in understanding, but her voice was fierce. "We never were the best at talking, were we? Blame doesn't heal wounds. Maybe it'll take all of us to really listen to each other and ourselves." Then the unthinkable happened. Clara's words softened the air, igniting the delicate balance of healing. Mr. Hargrove looked at his sister, eyes misting. Maybe I didn't teach you well when I left, but I want to be here now. I want all of us to be here. The soft clinking of dishes fell quiet, and suddenly the diner exploded with applause, cheers of support cascading around them. The tension that once gripped the space melted under the light of genuine connection. Mr. Hargrove felt tears well up in his eyes. It's time to rebuild. Together. Yes, Clara agreed, with a tenderness she hadn't shown in years. Together. Emma stepped back to see the reflection of honesty and love bloom around the table. This is just the beginning. I senti it? A chance to heal. Each of them connected in that moment, a fragile yet resounding promise forged in a space where voices braided into one. Like the diner itself, they stood as a reminder of community, spirit, and the relentless fight for belonging. And as they shared laughter and tears, hope settled comfortably in the heart of the diner. Because sometimes, it only takes one warm gesture, a single act of kindness to illuminate the path home. Now, loyal friends, embrace this moment. You need to subscribe now to witness our journey unfold with even more heartwarming stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and fuel our community's growth. Comment your feelings about this transformation. Your voice matters. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible journey toward redemption. Don't wait not even one more second to spread the love.